So part 2 of the Chapter 3 practice test is super short, and let me just jump into it. The first problem talks about a new car being purchased for $30,000, a loan being taken for 6 years or 72 months, and the interest rate is 5.9%. What is the monthly payment? In order to compute a monthly payment, on my calculator I hit my apps button, I hit enter on finance, enter on TVM solver, and I have to plug numbers in for N, I, PV. I don't have to plug a number in for payment because my calculator is going to solve for payment. I have to plug a number in for FV, PY, CY, and the bottom row of my calculator best be on end or it won't give me the right amount. If it's on begin, it's going to assume that your first car payment's due the day that you take the loan as opposed to 1 month later. In for the N on this problem, I'm going to take the number of payments, which is 72. In for the I, I'm going to put the interest rate as a percent, which is 5.9%. In for the PV, I'm going to put the loan amount, which is $30,000. Let me get those numbers in. So N 72, I 5.9, PV 30,000, and PMT is what I'm going to solve for. So it doesn't matter what's in there. Right now my calculator has minus 150. I don't care what it has in there. My calculator, regardless of what's in there, will ignore it as it does the computation. FV needs to be what I want to owe when it's paid off, which is 0. And the PY stands for the number of payments per year. And we always make the PY and the CY the same in our class. The CY is how often his interest is charged, and generally on a car payment that's monthly. Now that I have everything in except the PMT, even though my calculator has a PMT, I'm going to scroll up to the PMT, and once I'm there, I'm going to hit the green alpha button. So my cursor is flashing on the PMT. Hit the green alpha button, and I hit enter, and it gives me negative 495.77. The reason my calculator comes back with a negative, it indicates money that I need to spend. When I write my answer, I'm not going to include that negative sign. The monthly payment for this car is going to be $495.77. When I go to do part B, on my calculator, on the main screen of my calculator, I'm going to get my calculator to say BAL, which means finding the balance. And after 2 years, I'm not going to plug in 2. I'm going to plug in 24 because the N is the number of months, and 2 times 12, 2 years is 24 months. I'm going to get my calculator to say balance 24. To do that, I have to first get out of this TVM solver screen. So I'm going to hit second, followed by quit. Then I'm going to go apps. I'm going to hit enter on finance. And I'm going to arrow down till I find the BAL. Once I'm at BAL, I'm going to hit enter. And BAL is going to come on my main screen. Now I'm going to type in 24 and then parentheses. And then it'll give me my answer. Let me go through that again in case you didn't get it. Let me clear out the screen. So in my TVM solver, I've just computed that $495.77 payment. After I do that, I hit second and quit to get out of that screen. Then I go apps, enter on finance, arrow up or down until you find BAL, hit enter on BAL, type 24 for the 24 months that are in 2 years, close my parentheses, and this gives me my balance. I'm going to round to 2 decimals. Is going to be $21,151, and I'm going to round that to 39 cents because the 5 after the 8 rounds it up. To do part C, I'm going to have my calculator add up the interest from the first payment to the last payment. The first payment is payment number 1. The last payment is payment number 72. On my calculator, I'm going to get it to do the sum of interest. What this will do is it will add up, sum means add up the interest, and you need to tell it what payments I'm going to add up the interest from. I'm going to start with the first payment and end with the last payment. So what my calculator will do if I enter this, it will calculate every interest amount from the first payment to the 72nd or last payment, because it's a 72-month loan, and it'll add all those up. Don't need to do much on my calculator to make this happen. I just computed the balance. I have the payment, the loan in my calculator. To do the sum of interest, I hit apps, I hit enter on finance, and then I start scrolling. Eventually I'm going to get, there it is, sum of interest. I hit enter on the sum of interest, and then I type 1 for the first payment, then comma, and then 72 for the last payment, close out my parentheses, and hit enter, and it'll tell me, it gives me a negative amount because it's money I'm spending, but the total interest for this loan is going to be $5,695.56. Again, how I did that is I hit apps, finance, scroll down until I found sum of interest, hit enter. I did 1 comma 72, 1 meaning the first payment, 72 being the last payment. Sum of interest means to add up the interest on all those payments, and I get the $5,695.56. Question 10 talks about Chris, and she wants to get a car loan that costs her $400 per month, and it says how big of a loan can she take if she plans to finance at 6 years, 72 months. In order to do this, I need to go back to the TVM solver screen. And enter some figures. First figure I'm going to enter is the N, which is the number of payments, and Chris is taking a 6-year or 72 months loan. I'm going to put 72 months for the period. I'm going to enter the interest rate at 4%. I'm going to solve for the PV, which is the loan amount. Into the payment, I'm going to put her desired payment. Quite honestly, it doesn't matter whether you make this positive or negative, but usually money that I'm depositing goes in as a negative, so I'm going to put a -4 in it for the payment. For the F fee, I'm going to put what she wants to owe when the car is paid off, which is 0. If this was a lease and the car had a residual value, this is where you put a number there. But for a purchase, future value should be 0. The PY is the number of payments she's going to make each year. I'm assuming she's making 12 payments each year. And the CY is how often interest is charged. I'm assuming it's monthly. And again, I'm going to leave the calculator on end, because usually the first payment is not due the day that you take the loan. If you left it on begin, the first payment would be due the day the loan is taken, as opposed to 1 month later. Let me get this on my calculator real quickly now to get our payment. So I'm going apps, finance, enter on TVM solver. Now I'm going to type 72 for the N, 4 for the I. I don't care that 30,000 is in the PV. I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to type in -400 for the payment. I have everything else that I want to get entered in. I'm going to get my calculator's cursor flashing on the PV, and then I'm going to hit the green alpha button and then the enter. And that's going to give me $25,566.97. If you had a $25,566.97 loan, your payment would be $400 a month. 11 is dealing with somebody that's saving up for retirement. They're putting $100 in an account every 2 weeks. Probably every time they get paid, they're having $100 taken out of their paycheck. The account already has a $5,000 in it. The investment's going to get 7% interest compounded every 2 weeks. Compute the balance in 30 years. I can do all of this in one big computation on the TVM solver screen. So on the TVM solver screen, I'm going to have to get all the numbers that are relevant to this problem in. One at a time. The first number I'm going to put in is the number of deposits that need to be made, and I'm making 30 years of deposits every 2 weeks, and every 2 weeks is 26 deposits per year. So the N is going to be 30 times 26, And let me just go ahead to my calculator, go up to the end and type 30 times 26, and I get 780. You can type in the number 780, or you can type in 30 times 26 like I did to get the 780. The interest rate is 7%. The PV is the amount of money the account already has in it, which is $5,000. Because it's money that I deposited, it should technically go in as a negative. The payment is the amount of money that's being deposited every 2 weeks. And again, because it's money that's being deposited, it should go in as $100 negative. I want to find the balance in 30 years, so I'm solving for the future value. The PY is how many payments are being made each year, and we're making payments every 2 weeks. If you take 52 weeks in a year, divide it by payments every 2 weeks, you get 26 payments per year. And generally, I make the PY and the CY the same just to make it easier. If I enter all those and then have my calculator alpha solve the future value, I'll get the answer to this. So I already have the N in. I'm going to put 7 for the I, negative 5,000 for the PV, negative 100 for the PMT. I don't care what's in my future value. It could be anything. Right now my future value is 0, but I have all the figures in how I want them to be other than the FV, which it doesn't matter what's in there, because regardless of what's in there, my calculator is going to override what's in there and compute it. So now I'm going to hit the green alpha button when my cursor is flashing on the FV and hit enter, and that's going to give me the answer. And whoops, I messed up. I didn't put the payment in as negative. It should be negative 100. The P of V and the PMT need the same signs. It doesn't matter which sign they have, but they both have to have the same sign. And now I'm going to alpha and enter, and I get 306,000. $33.11 as my answer to number 11. Only one last problem to do. It's another one from the TVM solver screen. 12 talks about Sue. She wants to have $1,500,000 saved up when she retires in 40 years. She doesn't have any money saved so far, and every 2 weeks she's going to have some money taken out of her paycheck, put into a savings account, and she's really optimistic and she's going to get 9% interest compounded every 2 weeks. How much money does she need to deposit so that when she retires in 40 years she has $1.5 million? So I need to enter an N, an I, a PV. The PMT is what I'm going to solve for. An FV, a PY, a CY, and I'm going to leave my calculator on end. First thing I'm going to do is type the N, and it's 40 years of deposits made every 2 weeks. The N is going to be 40 years times making deposits every 2 weeks. And I don't know what that is, but I can go to the N and just type 40 times 26. The N for this problem is going to be 1,040. The I, super aggressive estimate of 9%. PV would be any money she has already saved up, and she doesn't have any money saved up already. The present value of her account is 0. I'm going to solve for how much she needs to deposit every 2 weeks to get to a retirement goal of $1,500,000. The $1,500,000 is going to represent money she can pull out, and I'm going to put it in as a positive. If you put it in as a negative, it's not going to impact the amount that the payment comes out to be. It just will have a different sign. And always when I'm answering these questions, always make my answer positive, even if the work comes out, it comes out as a negative on my calculator. The PY, because she's making deposits every 2 weeks, is going to be 26 payments per year. The CY is also going to be 26. I'm going to enter all these amounts. I already have the 1,040 in, so I'm going to change the interest rate to 9. The PV I'm going to put at 0. The payment I'm going to solve over, so I don't care what's in there right now. And for the future value, $1,500,000. I have the 26 in. I have the end in. I have everything that I need to have in. I scroll up to the PMT. I hit the green alpha button, followed by the enter key. I'm going to round that to 2 decimals, and that's really nothing. $146.79. is how much Sue needs to deposit if she's going to work for 40 years. So maybe if you start depositing at 25 and retire when you're 65, and if you can get 9% interest, if you start it with nothing, and every paycheck, if you're getting paid every 2 weeks, you put $146.79 in, then in 40 years you'll have $1,500,000. All right, so that's everything from this part of the review. I knew it was going to be quick. It only took 15 minutes.